Hey folks, I'm Matt Peralt in Las Vegas from SB Nation Radio here for our first ever vidcast off of playpicks.com. Now remember, playpicks.com/bonus. All the best New Jersey online sports books. You go sign up and no deposit bonuses can be found right there. Also, remember, read the article. We're going to be writing articles, making picks every week, college football picks here off of playpicks.com. Now, off to a good start so far. 13-6. It's not bad, right? Here we are going into week number 5, 13-6. I'll take it. I am 3-3 on leans. Remember the difference between a pick and a lean. Pick is, that's where my money's going. A lean is, well, I'm kind of thinking about that. I'm not 100% committed to it. I just think it might go down that way. So 3-3 on the leans, 13-6 so far on our picks. Let's start pick number 1. Game of the week, game of the year in the Big Ten. Penn State, Ohio State. This is a rivalry. Now, you can have Michigan and Ohio State. That rivalry is amazing, right? That rivalry is historic. But until Jim Harbaugh gets those guys going, until Michigan can prove they can win a game in that rivalry, it's not really a rivalry. Ohio State, Penn State, back-to-back years have been barn burners. Last year, 19-3, the fourth quarter. What happened to Penn State in the fourth quarter? Columbus, the crowd, the atmosphere, whatever it was, Ohio State gets a huge win, 39-38. Now this year in Happy Valley, it's a whiteout. It's going to be a rocking atmosphere, right? But does Penn State have enough horses to contend with Dwayne Haskins in this Ohio State offense? Ohio State might be the best team not named Alabama in the country. Dwayne Haskins has got, 16 touchdowns to 1 pick? I mean, the guy is having a tremendous year. Right now, probably the Heisman Trophy favorite. So when you're looking at Penn State's defense, can they slow them down? I don't know. On the other side of the ball, Trace McSorley is a very good quarterback. I mean, they just eviscerated the Illini in the second half of that game last week. They were kind of wishy-washy in the first half, and they woke up, covered a big line, and blew out Illinois. That was on the road. Who has Penn State played? Now you could say who has Ohio State played, but they did beat TCU on a quasi-neutral field. A much better opponent than whoever else has faced from Penn State's side of things. So to me, it's Ohio State with a lean. -3.5 is the number, but the number I'm really looking at is the total. 70.5. It could go to 71, could go to 72. After what happened last year and how good these offenses are, this is the number 2 and number 3 offense in the country for points per game, 54.5 and 55 points respectively per game. But that's also who they're playing. These are 2 Big Ten defenses, and even though they might not be great and the best in the country, they're still Big Ten defenses. Bosa's out for this game. I get that. Penn State will score. Ohio State will really score. My lean, Ohio State -3.5. But my pick is I'm going against the grain here. I'm going to go with a contrarian pick. Wait, maybe right for a kickoff. Let that over and that total continue to go up and up and up. Then take the under. Go with the total under 70.5. If you can get it at 71, 72, like it even more. Wait for that number to kind of balloon, let the public bet it up, and then go ahead and take the under on Ohio State and Penn State. Let's go to game number 2, South Carolina at Kentucky. Now, what's interesting about this game is that it's the game of the week in the SEC. South Carolina and Kentucky should never be the game of the week in the SEC, but it is. For the first time since 2007, Kentucky is ranked. What does that do to the Wildcats? Get a little full of themselves, to the big guys on campus. And here comes South Carolina, a team that in their first big game of the year against Georgia didn't do well. They got blown out. Now on the road again, underdogs again. Line is Kentucky -1.5. Total is 51, but let's look at the number here on the side. South Carolina's offense, I like their quarterback Jake Bentley better than the quarterback Terry Wilson for Kentucky. I think you stack the line, you take away Benny Snell Jr., and you can beat Kentucky. They cannot throw with anybody. Their passing numbers are down with Georgia Tech and Army. That's not where you want to be when it comes to passing numbers, especially in the SEC. Will Muschamp's a defensive guy. He'll stack the line. He's going to take away Snell. And Snell's having a tremendous year. According to ESPN Stats and Info, get this stat. He's one of only 4 SEC players since 2000 to go for 500 yards and 7 touchdowns in his first 4 games. He is their offense. 4 picks per Terry Wilson. Not a lot of accuracy throwing the football. I like South Carolina to come in here and to beat with the outright win. Money line. You want to run a money line? Go ahead. You want to take the 1.5? Take the 1.5. I like South Carolina +1.5 on the road to give Kentucky their first loss of the season. Number 3 for games, let's talk about BYU, who currently they're owning one of the best non-conference wins of the season when they walked into a very difficult place in Camp Randall and they beat Wisconsin, then ranked number 6 in the country. They're on the road again this week, up in Seattle, taking on a top 15 team in Washington. What's going on with the Huskies offense? Really, Jake Browning's coming back. Now, is he an NFL quarterback? Probably not. And he knows it, but he's a darn good college quarterback. The offense could not put the ball in the end zone against Auburn, and that sputtering cost them that game. Since, though, Washington's offense has not been that impressive. They're not running the ball the way you would think. Myles Gaskin's only 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 21 last year. Some injuries and other things have tripped up Washington, but BYU is not going to be intimidated by the atmosphere in the least by walking into Seattle. They've already gone to Arizona and won. They went on the road to a very difficult place in Wisconsin and won, and now they're on the road against Washington. So the line is Washington minus 17.5. The total is 46. So what that's telling you is that Washington is going to blow out BYU and that BYU is not going to score. That's a little bit strange, right? I mean, Squally Canada had a hell of a game against Wisconsin, 118 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on 11 carries. This offense can move the ball and they can score. So to me, 17.5, the line's too big. I'm taking BYU plus 17.5. I think Washington wins the game, but that's too many points. I think BYU keeps it close enough. 17.5, take the points, ride with the dog, and maybe you get a benefit of a money line play as well if you want to go with a real upset, another upset for BYU on the road being another top 15 team. Fourth and finally, Stanford and Notre Dame. What is wrong with Stanford? Now, they won last week on quite possibly the craziest cover you'll ever see. If you had Oregon plus the 2, that's the definition of a bad beat. I don't know how you don't kneel on the football if you're Oregon and win that game, but they decided to run the football. They fumble. Stanford recovers. Field goal, touchdown, game over. Stanford wins. Stanford covers. Their defense, though, gave up way too many big plays. Oregon literally gave the game away. 80-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. Then at the end of the game, I mean, it was weird. I don't know what to make of Stanford's offense right now. I'm not so sure that Bryce Love's healthy. There's an issue right now with Bryce Love, and his Heisman candidacy is nowhere. I think he could be banged up, and that could be a real problem for this offense for Stanford. Now they're taking on Ian Book and the Irish. I was way wrong last week when I told you that Wake Forest would cover that point, that plus 7.5 line at home. Didn't happen. Book, it was kind of hidden, right? It was going to be either Winbush or Book. Brian Kelly didn't want to tell us. He was saying both quarterbacks were going to play. That didn't happen. One quarterback played, and the best quarterback played because that team with Ian Book running it, that's a national championship caliber. That's a playoff caliber team with that offense along with that defense. At home, the Irish, I love them here in this spot. Something's not right with Stanford. Irish, 10, 14-point victory. Lay the 5.5. Take Notre Dame to win that game outright. I know Stanford can get after the quarterback. I know they've got 13 sacks. Just don't buy it. An Oregon Duck team went up and down the field. I think the same thing happens here with the Irish in a big win at home over a top 10 team in Stanford, who I don't think, by the way, is actually a top 10 team. And finally, let's talk about a fun little play if you want, a teaser bet. So Alabama is right now ranked number 1. They're the best team in the country. If you try to tell me they're not, I'm going to laugh at you. But Alabama against Louisiana Lafayette, minus 48.5, 49, 50, depending on where the number is. That's insane. It is college football. Louisiana Lafayette, they're going to get off the bus. They've got D1 football players. They're going to come in there and try to play hard. Alabama's not going to play their starters for 4 quarters for the whole game. So to me, look at a teaser. How about taking the Alabama total, the side, and you bet it up to 53, 54, 55, to being where it is, right? And then find another game that you like. I'd look at Ole Miss and LSU. So Ole Miss is a 10.5-point dog in that one. What about making them a 16.5-point dog? You tease that up. That could be a fun little teaser to play in the SEC, where I think Ole Miss has a chance to maybe even beat LSU outright in that game. In Alabama, I think they pull up a little bit and they win that game by 40 or so. You've got a nice little cushion potentially there with 54, 55, 56. So try that. See how that goes. I'm Matt Peralta in Las Vegas. Remember to go to playpicks.com/bonus for all the best New Jersey online sports books to go and sign up, and no deposit bonuses as well. We're back next week. I'm Matt Peralta, playpicks.com. Best of luck.